The galaxy never expected humanity to retaliate. They learned fast. Sci-fi blamed quiet, too quiet, and humans did not notice it at first. Far beyond Earth, colonies floated among the stars, small pockets of human life on distant planets. They were simple settlements, not well defended, and far from the attention of Earth's military fleets. The Valarian Pact, a powerful alien alliance, had been watching them for decades. To the Valarians, humans were weak, slow, and easy to control. They saw humanity as a young species, noisy and emotional, not ready to survive among the stars. On the planet Orlan 7, a small colony thrived in silence. People lived in domes beneath a pale orange sky, farming and mining resources carefully. Among them was Leah Miller, a young engineer, who spent her days repairing old machines and dreaming about flying beyond the planet's orbit. She often looked up at the stars, wondering if anyone else in the galaxy cared about humans. One morning, the calm life of Orlan 7 changed forever. From the sky, ships descended, sleek and dark, unlike anything humans had ever built. They did not warn or negotiate. Within hours, the colony's communication arrays were destroyed, and most of the population had no chance to escape. Leah watched in horror as her friends and neighbors ran, but the aliens' weapons were too fast, too powerful. She barely managed to hide in a storage bay, breathing quietly as the ground shook with explosions. Far away, on Earth, life was busy and normal. People went to work, studied, and lived without fear of the galaxy outside. But slowly, strange reports started arriving. Messages from distant colonies stopped coming. Satellites detected unusual activity near human settlements, but no one knew what it meant. At first, officials thought it was a technical problem, a glitch in communication systems. But soon, the reality became impossible to ignore. Dr. Lucas Carter, a xenolinguist who studied alien languages, was one of the first to realize the truth. He had been examining signals intercepted by Earth's listening posts. At first, they seemed like random noise, strange patterns of sound and light. But when he analyzed them carefully, he discovered a horrifying message. The Valarians were discussing humans as if they were insects, deciding which colonies to destroy next. The message was clear. Humans were not a threat, but they were unnecessary. If a colony became inconvenient, the Valarians would erase it. Lucas tried to warn the military leaders. Captain Jake Turner, a seasoned fleet officer, was listening carefully as Lucas explained. "They don't see us as enemies," Lucas said.
They see us as a problem to remove, and they've already started.
He had fought in minor conflicts before, but nothing like this. The idea that humans were considered expendable, destroyed without warning, made his blood boil. "How many colonies are gone?" he asked. Lucas hesitated. "We don't know exactly. Communication stopped weeks ago from several settlements. It's possible more than half are already gone." On Earth, political leaders argued about how to respond. The deaf comes first. Amanda Brooks, a member of Earth's Central Council, stood in front of the room, trying to convince her colleagues that action was necessary. "We cannot wait," she said, her voice firm but calm. "If we do nothing, the Valarians will continue to take our people, our colonies. We need to strike back before it is too late." Some leaders were afraid of provoking a war. They thought humanity was not ready to face the Valarian Pact, a species with technology far beyond human capability. They argued for caution, for diplomacy, for waiting. But Amanda knew time was already lost. Meanwhile, The survivors of the first attacks were trying to survive. Leah Miller, still hiding in the storage bay of the ruined Aralon colony, felt fear and anger growing inside her. She could hear alien patrols moving across the colony's surface. Every time a door opened, she held her breath, waiting to see if she would be discovered. She realized that humans had never faced anything like this. Their weapons, their defenses, everything seemed useless against the Valerians' advanced technology. But humans had one thing the Valerians had not counted on: resilience. Leah remembered the stories her father had told her about Earth's wars, about humans surviving against impossible odds. She decided she would not give up. Slowly, carefully, she began to move through the colony's ruined corridors, searching for supplies and a way to contact Earth. At the same time, Captain Jake Turner was organizing a fleet on Earth. Though most ships were outdated and small compared to Valerian vessels, Jake believed that surprise and clever tactics could give humanity a chance. "We may be small, but we are fast," he told his officers. "We adapt. We learn. That is something they will never expect." Lucas Carter worked alongside Jake, trying to decode more of the Valerians' messages. Every day he learned more about their strategies, their weaknesses, and their arrogance. The Valerians assumed humans would be predictable. They assumed humans would panic or surrender. But Lucas knew humans could think in unpredictable ways. They could be clever, daring, and creative in ways the Valerians had never imagined. The first step of humanity's response was small. Earth sent scout ships to distant colonies, not to fight, but to gather information. They had to know how many colonies were gone, how many survivors were hiding, and what technology the Valerians were using. Leah Miller, after days of hiding, managed to contact one of these scout ships. She explained what had happened and where survivors could be found. For the first time in weeks, she felt hope. Humans were not alone in the galaxy anymore. As humans prepared to retaliate, the Valerians continued their quiet campaign. They did not expect any resistance from Earth itself. They believed the remaining human colonies were weak and isolated, easy to conquer one by one. But every act of destruction, every colony lost, only made humans more determined. The galaxy had assumed humans were slow learners, and that mistake would soon cost them. Back on Earth, Amanda Brooks worked tirelessly to unite the political factions. She knew that humanity's only chance was to present a united front. Nations that had once competed for resources and territory now had to work together. Soldiers, engineers, scientists, and civilians all prepared for the unknown. Fear was present, but so was determination. Meanwhile, Captain Jake Turner trained his crews in new tactics, combining Earth technology with whatever alien devices they could salvage from destroyed colonies. Lucas Carter continued to study alien language and signals, looking for patterns that could be exploited. Together, they began forming a plan to strike back in ways the Valerians would never expect. Leah Miller joined the effort as well. She was small, but clever, and her knowledge of colony systems made her a valuable asset. She helped design devices that could disrupt alien sensors and communications. Slowly, humans began to understand the Valerians not just as invaders, but as opponents, with rules, weaknesses, and blind spots. One night, while staring at the stars from a ruined platform on Oralon, 7, Leah whispered to herself. They think we are weak. They think we will run. They are wrong. Her voice carried no fear, only resolve. Humanity had been underestimated, and that mistake would shape the next chapter of the galaxy. The first act of retaliation was not yet ready. No ships had fired, No battles had been fought, but the wheels of human ingenuity were turning, quietly and efficiently. Humans learned fast. They adapted faster than the Valerians anticipated. By the time the aliens realized what was happening, humanity would already be striking back. Lucas Carter often reminded himself that humans were unpredictable. Their emotions, their creativity, and their stubbornness were not weaknesses. They were strengths. While the Valerians calculated in cold logic, humans acted on intuition, on gut feeling, and on courage. And sometimes, that was enough to change the outcome of a battle before it even began. Across Earth, colonies and ships in space, a single idea spread. Humanity would not be destroyed without a fight. It was the spark that would grow into a fire. Humans may have been small and underestimated, but they had something no alien could measure: the will to survive. And when they finally retaliated, the galaxy would see just how fast humans could learn, adapt, and fight back. Leah Miller looked at the stars one last time before leaving Orlan. 7. The colony was lost, but not all humans were gone. She would carry the story of her people to those who could strike back. Captain Jake Turner's fleet awaited her transmission, and soon the first counterstrike would begin. Humanity's patience had ended. The galaxy never expected humanity to retaliate. They assumed humans would cry, hide, and surrender. But humans were learning faster than anyone could imagine. And in the coming days, the first acts of revenge would show the Valerians that underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake. Meanwhile, Lucas Carter continued studying the Valerian communications. He discovered patterns in their language that allowed humans to predict some of the aliens' moves. With this information, human commanders could plan attacks more effectively. Every message he decoded was another advantage. The Valerians, growing frustrated, started sending larger fleets to respond. But humans were ready. Using clever strategies, hit-and-run attacks, and their deep knowledge of alien behavior, the human fleets avoided direct confrontations when possible. Instead, they struck where the Valerians were weak, cutting off supplies, destroying small stations, and creating confusion. One of the most daring missions involved a human ship flying directly into a Valerian command outpost. Pilot Ryan Cole volunteered for the mission. The ship was small, with barely enough room for him and his equipment. He maneuvered past patrols, dodged energy beams, and planted explosives inside the outpost. Then he escaped just as the charges detonated, leaving the aliens scrambling to understand what had happened. Every success encouraged more humans to act. Volunteers from Earth joined missions, engineers built new devices, and commanders learned from every battle. Human ingenuity and courage made the Valerians realize that underestimating humans had been a mistake. However, the victories did not come without cost. Some missions failed, and humans were sometimes captured or killed. But even in loss, humans learned. Each failure taught them new ways to fight, new strategies to survive, and new lessons about the Valerians. This adaptability became their greatest weapon. Captain Jake Turner watched the progress carefully. He knew the first victories were only the beginning. The Valerians had technology far beyond humans, but humans had determination and creativity. "We are showing them that we are not weak," he said to Lucas Carter. Every mission, every victory reminds them that humans cannot be controlled or underestimated. Leah Miller, standing on the deck of a human ship, looked at the stars. She thought of her friends from Orlan. 7. Of all the colonies lost, and of the humans still fighting. The galaxy had assumed humanity would be easy to defeat. But humans were learning fast. They were fighting back, and the Valerians were discovering that every small victory could inspire a greater one. In the darkness of space, human ships moved like shadows. They struck quickly, disappeared, and left the Valerians scrambling. Every success was carefully measured, every attack planned, and every victory celebrated quietly. Humanity was not seeking war for power or conquest. They were fighting to survive and protect their people. But the message was clear across the galaxy. Humans were not weak. Humans were learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each encounter. The Valerians' arrogance had been their first mistake. Underestimating humans had given the young species a chance to strike back, and they were taking it with courage and intelligence. As Part 2 came to a close, humanity had changed. They had become more confident, more united, and more dangerous. The first retaliations had proven that humans could fight, that they could adapt, and that they were not the helpless species the galaxy had assumed. Captain Jake Turner looked at the stars, thinking about the battles ahead. He knew the Valerians would respond with greater force, but he also knew humanity had a unique advantage. Humans did not follow rules like machines. They acted with creativity, instinct, and heart. And that was something no alien could fully understand or control. Leah Miller, Maya Grant, Ethan Hale, Ryan Cole, and all the humans who fought in the shadows of the galaxy had made one thing clear. Humanity had arrived. They had struck back, and they had learned fast. And when the Valerians realized the full scope of humanity's determination, they would know that the galaxy had underestimated the wrong species. The Valerian Pact was growing frustrated. Their patrols had been disrupted, supply lines destroyed, and small stations demolished. Every time they thought they could crush humanity, the humans found a way to strike back. The Valerians had never faced a species that adapted so quickly, and it was changing the balance of power in the galaxy. On Earth, Captain Jake Turner and Dr. Lucas Carter studied the patterns of the Valerian fleets. The small victories had taught humanity many lessons, but the next challenge was much larger. The Valerians had begun concentrating their forces near human colonies, preparing for a major counterattack. They assumed that sheer numbers and firepower would force humans to retreat. "We need to be ready," Jake said, pacing the floor of the fleet command ship. "They're not going to wait. They're going to come at us with everything they have." Lucas nodded. "We've learned a lot, Captain. Every attack, every patrol gives us more data. We know their patterns, their weaknesses, and their blind spots. This is the time to use it." Meanwhile, Leah Miller was working in the engineering bay. She was modifying stealth devices and building tools that could disrupt Valerian communications. Every small improvement could save lives and give human ships a chance against the larger fleets. She had a quiet determination in her eyes. Every colony lost, every family destroyed, pushed her to make humans stronger. The Valerians did not wait. A massive fleet appeared near the outer edge of human space. Hundreds of ships, sleek and dark, moved with precision and power. The humans were outnumbered, but not outsmarted. Using their knowledge of Valerian tactics, Captain Jake Turner divided his smaller fleet into groups, each moving in unpredictable patterns. Commander Ethan Hale led one of the strike teams. They moved like shadows, slipping past the alien patrols, using every trick humans had learned in the past months. "Remember," Ethan said to his crew, "we are not fighting to destroy them all at once. We are fighting to survive and to teach them not to underestimate us." The first engagement was small, but decisive. Human ships attacked Valerian supply ships and energy carriers, using hit-and-run tactics. The Valerians fired their energy weapons, but human maneuvering and clever stealth devices allowed most of the fleet to escape unharmed. The humans were not trying to win the battle outright. They were trying to weaken the enemy and confuse them. On another front, pilot Ryan Cole led a small squadron directly into the heart of the Valerian formation. The ships were fast, small, and difficult to target. Using feints and sudden changes in direction, they struck at command ships and escaped before the Valerians could respond. Each attack caused confusion, slowed the enemy, and gave humans a chance to regroup. Meanwhile, Maya Grant worked on planetary defenses. She had set up automated turrets on a colony under threat, using modified Valerian technology. When the Valerian ships attempted to bombard the planet, the turrets fired in coordinated patterns, hitting ships before they could get close. The aliens were surprised by the effectiveness of the defenses. Lucas Carter sent out a message, encoded in the Valerian language, warning the enemy that humans were adapting faster than expected. Some Valerian officers saw the message and became uneasy. They had always believed humans were predictable. Now they realized that the species they had thought of as weak was learning in real time. Amanda Brooks coordinated Earth's response. Every planet, every fleet, every volunteer contributed to the fight. Civilians worked to repair damaged ships and build supplies. Scientists shared their discoveries about Valerian technology. Soldiers trained in new tactics. Humanity was becoming a single, unified force, and it was stronger than the Valerians expected. The turning point came during the battle near the Orion Expanse. The Valerians had concentrated a massive fleet there, aiming to destroy a series of human colonies. Captain Jake Turner and his commanders knew that a direct fight would be suicidal, but they had a plan. Using data from Lucas Carter's analysis, the human fleet created an ambush. They lured part of the Valerian fleet into a narrow asteroid field. The large Valerian ships struggled to maneuver, while the smaller, more agile human ships struck from multiple directions. Explosions rocked the asteroids as the humans targeted engines and energy cores. The Valerians were caught off guard, losing ships and retreating in disorder. Ethan Hale and Ryan Cole worked together, coordinating attacks on key Valerian ships. They used every trick they had learned: feints, rapid changes in course, and precision strikes on vulnerable areas. Each hit caused chaos in the Valerian ranks, making the humans appear stronger than they actually were. Back on Earth, Amanda Brooks received news of the victory. It was not a complete win. The Valerians still had the largest fleets, but it was the first time humanity had held its ground against a major alien force. She addressed the council, her voice firm and proud. Humans have shown that we are not weak. We have defended our colonies and proven that we can fight back. This is just the beginning. Leah Miller and Maya Grant continued their work, knowing that technology and preparation were as important as courage. Every improvement they made would give humans an edge in future battles. They modified weapons, improved shields, and created new tools to disrupt Valerian systems. Even the Valerians began to change their approach. Some commanders wanted to withdraw and regroup, realizing that humans were learning too quickly. Others wanted to escalate and destroy everything in their path. Internal divisions began to form within the Valerian Pact. Their arrogance had been their strength, but underestimating humans had created doubt and fear among their ranks. Lucas Carter intercepted a communication between Valerian leaders. He read it aloud to Jake Turner and Amanda Brooks. The humans adapt too quickly. Their strategy is unpredictable. They learn with every encounter. They are not what we expected. Jake smiled grimly. They're starting to realize it, and that realization will make them cautious. Every advantage we have counts. As humans repaired their ships and prepared for the next encounter, Leah Miller looked out into space. She thought about the colonies destroyed and the lives lost. Each victory came at a cost, but humanity was learning, adapting, and growing stronger. They had begun to challenge the Valerians' power, and they were only getting better. The battle near the Aronian expanse changed the way the Valerians saw humanity. No longer were humans a weak species to be ignored or destroyed at will. They were fighters, clever and resourceful, capable of turning disadvantage into advantage. Each new engagement showed that humans could survive, adapt, and strike back. Humanity had become unpredictable. They could not be controlled by fear, numbers, or superior technology. They acted with courage, instinct, and intelligence. And the Valerians, for the first time, realized that they had underestimated the wrong species. Captain Jake Turner addressed his fleet, his voice steady and firm. The galaxy thought we would be easy to defeat. They thought we would hide, surrender, or panic. But we are learning fast. We are adapting. And we will not stop until our people are safe and our colonies are protected. Ethan Hale, Ryan Cole, Leah Miller, and Maya Grant knew the truth of his words. Humanity was not perfect, and many lives had been lost, but the species had found a new strength. The galaxy had underestimated them once, and it would not happen again. Even the Valerians began to respect and fear the humans' potential. Some leaders began questioning the wisdom of their campaign. They realized that defeating humanity would not be simple. Every attack sparked resistance, every engagement taught humans new tactics, and every small victory inspired the rest of the species. Lucas Carter worked late into the night, decoding more alien communications. Each new piece of information allowed humans to anticipate Valerian moves and prepare counterattacks. Knowledge, courage, and adaptability became humanity's greatest weapons. Amanda Brooks organized Earth's efforts, ensuring that scientists, engineers, soldiers, and civilians worked together. She knew that victory would not come from a single battle, but from unity, preparation, and clever strategy. Humanity was becoming a force the Valerians could not ignore. Leah Miller modified a stealth ship, making it faster and harder to detect. Maya Grant improved planetary defenses, preparing for the Valerians' next attack. Ethan Hale trained new pilots, teaching them to think creatively and act decisively. Ryan Cole tested daring new maneuvers that could turn the tide of a fight in minutes. The galaxy was changing, and humanity was at the center of that change. The Valerians had assumed that humans would be easy prey. They were wrong. Humanity had struck back, learned quickly, and proven that they were not a species to be underestimated. As Part 3 came to a close, the first major human victories had been achieved. The Valerians were shaken, divisions were appearing in their leadership, and humans were learning faster than ever. Captain Jake Turner and his team knew that the coming battles would be more dangerous, but they were ready. Humanity had grown stronger, faster, and more daring. The Valerians had made a mistake. They had underestimated humans, and that mistake was only beginning to show its consequences. Humanity was no longer the species to be ignored. They were a force, clever and unpredictable, and the galaxy would soon see that the humans had learned to fight in ways no one had expected. The next step would be crucial. Humanity had won small battles, but the war was far from over. The Valerians would return with greater force, and humans would need every advantage they had. Captain Jake Turner, Lucas Carter, Leah Miller, Maya Grant, Ethan Hale, and Ryan Cole prepared for what was coming. Humanity had learned, adapted, and fought back. And when the next battle came, The Valerians would see that underestimating humanity was their greatest mistake yet. The Valerian Pact was no longer confident. Their fleets had been surprised, their supply lines cut, and their command systems disrupted. They had expected humans to run, to hide, to surrender after a few attacks. Instead, humans had learned, adapted, and struck back in ways the aliens could not predict. On Earth, Captain Jake Turner and Dr. Lucas Carter gathered with Amanda Brooks, Leah Miller, and other leaders. The mood was tense but hopeful. Humanity had won small victories, but the war was not over. The Valerians were still powerful, and a full-scale attack could still destroy entire colonies. They had to plan carefully. Amanda spoke first. "We have shown that we can fight back, that we can adapt and survive. But the Valerians are still out there, planning their next move. We must prepare for them, but also look for a way to end this conflict without losing more of our people." Jake nodded. "We have learned a lot about their tactics, their technology, and their weaknesses. If we use everything we know, we can force them into a position where they must negotiate."
Leah Miller had been working with engineers to upgrade the Atlas network, a new defense system.
The system could redistribute energy across human colonies, create temporary shields, and even manipulate gravity to slow enemy ships. It was a risky experiment, but it could give humans the advantage they needed to survive a major attack. Meanwhile, the Valerians had begun arguing among themselves. Some commanders wanted to escalate, to attack Earth directly and destroy humanity before it grew stronger. Others had begun to doubt their strategy. "They are learning too fast," said one Valerian admiral. "Every attack we plan, they find a way to turn it against us. We cannot predict them, and they are gaining strength every day." Back on Earth, Lucas Carter analyzed alien messages and realized something important. The Valerians were divided. Some wanted total war. Others wanted caution. Humanity could use this division to their advantage. If they could strike in a way that forced the Valerians to rethink their plans, they might end the war without total destruction. The opportunity came sooner than expected. A Valerian armada approached Earth's outer defenses. Thousands of ships moved in formation, intending to destroy the colonies closest to the planet. Humans were vastly outnumbered, but Captain Jake Turner had a plan. He divided his fleet into 3 groups. One group would lure the Valerians into the asteroid fields near the outer planets. Another group would remain hidden, ready to strike the Valerians' command ships. The third group would remain in orbit, protecting Earth and the colonies. Commander Ethan Hale led the ambush group. He moved his ships through the asteroid field, using its chaos to hide from the larger Valerian ships. Small human ships darted between rocks, striking the enemy where they were most vulnerable. Explosions lit the dark space as engines were destroyed, weapons disabled, and the Valerian fleet began to falter. Ryan Cole led the strike team targeting the command ships. They moved faster than the Valerians expected, striking critical systems with precision. The command ships lost control over parts of the fleet, causing confusion and retreat. Humanity was showing the Valerians that their strength alone was not enough to win. On the ground, Maya Grant activated planetary defenses. The automated turrets fired with precision, hitting any ship that came close to the colonies. The Valerians had not expected humans to use their technology in this way. Every failed attack by the aliens strengthened humanity's position. Leah Miller monitored the Atlas network from the control room. The system redirected energy from peaceful colonies to critical defense points, strengthening shields and even temporarily manipulating gravity to slow the Valerian ships. "We can hold them," she told Jake over the communication line. "We have the advantage now." Lucas Carter sent a message directly into Valerian command channels. using the alien language to explain humanity's position. "We do not seek to destroy you," he said. "We only ask that you leave our colonies and our people alone. We have the ability to fight back, and we will continue to grow stronger. Further attacks will not succeed." Some Valarian commanders were shocked. They had never encountered a species that could combine strategy, courage, and technology in such a way. Others argued that the humans must be crushed at all costs. The debate spread throughout the Valarian leadership, weakening their coordinated response. Captain Jake Turner saw the opportunity. He ordered a careful but strong attack, striking key supply lines and isolating the larger ships. The Valarians could not regroup effectively. Small human fleets, using speed and precision, caused chaos in the enemy ranks. The humans had learned not only to defend themselves, but to turn the enemy's strength into weakness. The battle lasted for days. The Valarians tried every tactic they knew, but humans were unpredictable. They adapted constantly, changing formations, redirecting power, and attacking where least expected. Every human victory was careful and planned, but it inspired hope and courage throughout Earth and the colonies. Amanda Brooks coordinated diplomatic efforts during the conflict. She sent messages to the Valarians offering peace if they agreed to withdraw. The aliens were divided. Some wanted war, but others realized that humanity was not a species to be conquered. Their arrogance had been their greatest weakness. Finally, after a tense standoff, a Valarian admiral agreed to meet with human representatives. Amanda Brooks, Captain Jake Turner, and Dr. Lucas Carter traveled aboard a neutral ship to the meeting point. They carried no weapons, only data, and the message that humanity would fight to survive if necessary. The Valarian leaders were surprised. They expected humans to beg for mercy, to surrender, or to negotiate from a position of weakness. Instead, they found determination, intelligence, and calm confidence. Amanda spoke clearly. "Humans do not want war. We want to protect our people and our colonies, but we will not allow any species to destroy us or take what is ours. We ask for peace. You can leave our colonies intact, and we will not pursue you further." The Valarians debated. The humans had proven that they were not only capable of fighting, but capable of winning under the right circumstances. The divisions within the Valarian Pact grew stronger. Some argued for destruction, but others argued that continued attacks would only lead to more losses and further humiliation. After long deliberation, the Valarians agreed to a truce. They would leave human colonies alone and recognize humanity as a species capable of defending itself. The humans had forced the aliens into negotiations, not through overwhelming force, but through careful strategy, courage, and adaptability. Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Survivors returned to the colonies, engineers repaired the damaged systems, and families reunited. Humanity had survived, learned, and grown stronger. They had faced an enemy far more advanced and powerful, and they had proven that courage, intelligence, and adaptability could overcome even the greatest odds. Leah Miller walked through the repaired colonies, seeing children playing where destruction had once been. She remembered Orlan, 7, the friends she had lost, and the lives that had been sacrificed. Humanity had paid a price, but they had learned, and they would never be underestimated again. Commander Ethan Hale trained new pilots for the fleet, sharing every lesson learned during the battles. Ryan Cole tested new maneuvers and shared tactics that had worked against Valarian ships. Maya Grant continued to improve planetary defenses and stealth technology. Every person had a role in making humanity stronger. Lucas Carter continued to study alien languages and communication. He knew that understanding their enemies gave humans an edge. By decoding messages and learning patterns, Humanity had turned knowledge into survival. Captain Jake Turner addressed the fleet one last time. "We have survived the Valerians' attacks. We have learned, adapted, and fought back. Humanity has proven that we cannot be underestimated."
Our strength comes from courage, intelligence, and unity. We will continue to grow, to protect our people, and to explore the galaxy.
And every species that meets humanity will know that we are not weak. Humans had gone from being a small, ignored species to a force that others respected and feared. The Valerians had learned that arrogance and underestimation were dangerous mistakes. Humanity had grown faster than anyone expected, adapting to challenges and turning weaknesses into strengths. In the aftermath of the war, humans focused on rebuilding and preparation. Colonies were strengthened, fleets expanded, and technology improved. Humans had learned from every battle, and they were ready for the challenges ahead. Amanda Brooks worked to establish diplomatic relations with other species. The humans' victories had shown that they could defend themselves and negotiate from strength. Other alien civilizations, hearing of humanity's courage and adaptability, began seeking alliances with Earth. Humans were no longer alone in the galaxy. They had become a species others could rely on or fear. Leah Miller looked up at the stars one evening from a rebuilt colony. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, but she saw possibilities instead of threats. Humanity had survived against impossible odds, had learned, and had grown stronger. They would continue to fight, explore, and adapt, and no one in the galaxy would ever underestimate humans again. Captain Jake Turner and Lucas Carter stood beside her. "We did what we had to do," Jake said quietly. "We survived, and we made sure humanity will never be treated as weak again." Lucas smiled. "They thought we were slow and predictable. But humans learn fast, and we have shown them that we cannot be controlled. The galaxy will remember that." The Valerians had retreated, leaving humanity in peace, for now. But the humans had learned a valuable lesson. Survival required courage, intelligence, and unity. They had faced a superior enemy and won, not by sheer power, but by thinking faster, learning faster, and adapting faster. As Part 4 came to a close, humanity had secured its place in the galaxy. They had proven that underestimation was dangerous, that courage and creativity could overcome even the strongest foe. The galaxy had never expected humans to fight back, and they had learned far too late that humans were capable of much more than anyone imagined. The story ended with humanity looking forward, prepared for the future, united and stronger than ever. The galaxy had underestimated them once. It would not make the same mistake again.